Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one will be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. This is for episode 11. It is called The Holding. Alright, and possible spoiler warning if you guys have not seen this episode yet for Fear the Walking Dead Season 6. So it sounds like this might be our third last episode for the season of Fear. According to the Wikia, there's two more episodes listed, which would be episodes 12 and 13. And I don't know if that's just how many they got in terms of description so far, or if that's how many they got done for this second half of Season 6, which would mean that they did 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 to end the season off. So another 6 episodes for Fear for the season, or 5 in some, unless we get an announcement or I see some more episodes being listed there. It sounds like we just have a couple more episodes left. Hopefully that's wrong and we do get more, but it looks like to me they weren't able to get down a full 8-episode run from the looks of things until we hear otherwise. So as usual, episodes released early on AMC Plus, AMC Premiere if you have it. If you don't, you can watch this episode Sunday night. There are not any major character deaths or major spoilers in this one, but this will be a spoiler review. So we have had quite a few character deaths recently. Spoiler warning, we had John to start off this back half. We had Virginia going from there. And last week we had the Daniel episode. So this episode, The Holding. So in this episode we get to see the group that was kind of mentioned by Dakota, which is a group that has been somehow here living underground. So we get to see the episode start off, and we get to find out about this new group, the Holding. And so it is kind of revealed in this episode they were the ones who attacked Tankdown, or who deliberately sabotaged it. And they are a pretty formidable group. They are a pretty scary group. You know, we see them kind of underground, so it's a bit of a dark episode. Kind of has that claustrophobic kind of everything crammed in kind of feel. There's walkers, and they have a pretty cool kind of angle here as a group. It sounds like they're somehow using walkers, decomposing them, and using them to regrow plants or grow food of some kind. So it's they're like grinding them down in the episode, and they're using them for this. It's pretty freaky. It's sort of, this group feels to me like a cult. Like we're seeing maybe our first cult type group in the Walking Dead universe. I can't say that this group reminds me of any others that we've seen before. They really do feel like something kind of original and something different. We get the mention of this Teddy character, who seems to be kind of the leader of this group, and looks like he's we get to kind of see him at the end of the episode sort of come in, presumably with Alicia, who has been spoilers for that, captured in this episode by them in order to sort of sacrifice herself to have the others kind of get away. So they're able to sort of escape, but she lights on fire these embalmed walkers, which they're like cutting them, and there's like embalming fluid kind of coming out of them. It's quite the strange group. Now in the episode, we get the intro, and it's a Wes episode. We get to see the end is the beginning. So the end is the beginning is a bit meta. We started to see this before, and then it was sort of announced around the same time that the Walking Dead television series would be ending. So I do feel like this kind of group here and this description might be a bit meta for Walking Dead, in sort of describing the end as the beginning, like something new will come after the Walking Dead TV series ends. So it sort of makes me feel like they've kind of worked into the story, either that or it's a big coincidence, which it could be, and maybe that's just how the timing worked out, and maybe it's just a meta coincidence, but it feels like the end is the beginning. they're describing The Walking Dead is coming to an end, the original series, but that is just the beginning for new things to grow, or for new routes to take, and for new things to to come afterwards. So I do like that. So we get the focus group in this episode up until the end, basically. We have Alicia, we have Wes, which is good because we have not seen a lot of Wes this season, and since he was introduced, so finally they're kind of using him more and giving him that intro kind of thing there. And in this episode, we get to see from Wes's perspective that his brother Derek is still alive, but tragically Derek has now joined the Holding, so he's basically the closest thing I can think of to it. And again, this is new for Walking Dead, but I know lots of other series have done this type of thing. I think there was an episode of Boy Meets World where Sean, if you guys remember, this is going way back, this is like a 90s episode, joins kind of like a cult, and they try to kind of get him to kind of leave it. And that's one of the most difficult things, is when people get into these types of systems and they make them feel important, they make them feel like they're a part of a new type of family, having a new family. They can program people socially here to even kind of leave their whole life behind, but sort of, just become completely immersed in the cult. And so tragically, we see that in this episode for Wes, even though he is very happy at first to find out his brother, first of all, is still alive, but that he's actually there. Between the two of them in this episode, Wes sort of lets his brother know that actually they are from Morgan's group, and they're not just random, people that have been wandering around or whatever and scavenging and finding them, and sort of gives them up. So Wes kind of entrusts in Derek and gives up the group. Like I said, Wes, Alicia, Luciana, and Althea. So he's giving them up by letting his brother know, in that he's trusting his brother. But what he doesn't really realize here is his brother has been completely and totally absorbed by this and brainwashed by the Holding, and ends up actually giving them up to the Holding. So choosing the Holding, choosing this group over his brother, over the safety and the sanctity of Wes. So this is pretty tragic to see in the episode. It is exciting at the same time. A lot of it's kind of dark and kind of gloomy, and it's they do this thing where they have them stare at a walker and try to say, "Can you see? What do you see?" Getting the interpretation or kind of the secretive meaning of the group from the person trying to. And I guess the answer would be the future. Probably is what the answer would be. I see the future, right? I see the end of this, but then the beginning of something growing out of out of the decaying afterwards. And you get these like replaying messages from Teddy and some of the things he's kind of been saying. It's totally a Walking Dead cult or secret society or something of the sort. And they are secretive as well. So not only are they underground, but kind of super secretive and everything, but they also have a screening process. So they don't just let in the Holding. They don't just let people in to know what it's all about. Again, like many other, as I've been kind of highlighting in some of the live streams in the last year or so, in real life, you have kind of a tier structure where an initiate is sort of taken in and is given systematically more and more information when they're ready for it. And then because of kind of the way it works, they're not allowed to leave because the rules of the cult or of the secret society close them off to where if they violate them, those rules inside this sectioned off group supersede the rules of the regular world. And they're pretty, almost all of them have that design feature, right? So you get these people, maybe they are curious, so they want to know, or they join for socially some reason or another. A lot of times maybe because they don't have anyone or whatever, what have you. Certainly in a zombie apocalypse you could see that. And then as they're going through, they kind of become more and more sort of systematically kind of brainwashed or get into it and kind of become detached from the regular world and the regular people, become programmed by it, and then become almost consumed by it, which is it is tragic, and you do have to feel sorry for people who get involved in these kind of systems and then afterwards cannot get out. So now you can see how dangerous these types of things are, because they create a closed-in system, they brainwash people, they program them, and then they close them off to the outside world. And basically we get the sense that for the rules that have been set up here for this one from Teddy, it's basically, we get the sense that the idea is to clear, to use a Morgan term, to clear everything above and kind of start again anew. So anybody who's not in the deal is in opposition to it and is to be cleared out, and that's why they attack Tanktown, and that's why they're looking to attack, infiltrate, and attack Morgan's group. We also get the sense that Tanktown was infiltrated too by one of them who was pretending to be a regular survivor but was actually part of this group. So they kind of infiltrated Tanktown, and they know who Morgan is. So quite possibly they have someone again, because it's closed off with secrecy, who has joined and basically is a spy for the holding as well. So these types of systems, super dangerous, very very intelligent in terms of the layout of this group in this episode. And you guys know this is something I really really like. But again, kind of the same kind of type of themes as is common with these. Focusing on the truth, kind of giving people more. And in this way, it's kind of twisted, but in ones that exist in real life, they do have certain secrets they keep, and then they'll give, as incentives to people, but they'll close them off and make sure that they have signed up and, are going to keep it a secret as they're being given more and more and more information, showing more and more loyalty to it. So, really good stuff with the holding in this episode as a new group. Very dangerous, very scary group to go against. And the only thing that's weird about it is like their location being underground and stuff like this is, they don't seem that impressive as far as that goes. But pretty scary group to see in the Walking Dead. Very cool stuff. We also get to see some stuff for the CRM, and Althea wants to warn Beer Lady because they may be going after her as well too. They may be going after the serum, which again is another kind of secretive, kind of closed off type of group as well. So we're getting a little bit sophisticated here in Fear. It's pretty cool, and so I like it. And so you have so we continue in the episode. They find out you have Derek kind of giving them up, them being kind of met by the Riley is the guy's name who seems to be the leader, but is really like maybe a sergeant or a general under Teddy, what have you, an underling of his that leads when Teddy is kind of gone. And so then we have Alicia and the others kind of looking to get out of there, her punching Derek, taking his gun, and them getting kind of captured first by Riley, and then later, because you have Wes go with Derek, he's able to kill him by pushing him into the walker on the tree growth there, and then is able to kind of come back and try to help the others kind of escape. They sort of are, they're going to, and you get these walkers that are all kind of tied up and they're kind of embalmed. Their mouths are kind of closed, silenced in a way here, and can't bite except for maybe one of the CRM soldiers they find. And so then the group ends up escaping, except for Alicia, who ends up staying to light fire to the embalming so that the others can get away, sort of sacrificing herself, similar to Madison, as described by kind of Teddy in this episode, which was cool. So Madison having sacrificed herself so they could kind of get away. In this, we see Alicia follow suit and do the same kind of thing. And a pretty good fight between her and the embalming guy, who I don't know if he's named or not, but it was pretty good. She kind of gets him in the eye with a thing and kind of fight and everything. And then eventually Riley comes in with Teddy at the end. So a very cool episode. I did like it quite a bit. Certainly at parts it was scary. It was kind of dark. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I do think it is a really good episode. I think that this group is very scary in a certain, in a way, especially for their tactics and the way they control information, the way they're able to program people. And because again, you have to wonder, who do they have in Morgan's group that is kind of a Sabbatean or an infiltrator there that could sabotage Morgan and the others in however things go down here against this group, the Holding. Very scary. So in terms of us just having a couple episodes left, unless there's more. I would think that we should see this group at least into the next season. Fear being, renewed for season 7. Happy to hear that. So we will likely see them again. I would think. I don't think they'll be defeated by the end of this season, but I guess we'll see. And then into next season, man. This kind of stuff, like cults like this, it's just so nasty, right? it's so awful, right? In some ways for the people like Derek, tragically, who get into these kind of things, really brutal, and then are too scared to leave because they're worried the others will kill them if they try. Just brutal stuff. Let me know what you guys think about this episode, The Holding. I thought it was great. Watching it, you guys probably knew I would like it. And leave your comments below, and I'll see you back again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.